Crank that sound or grab your earbuds. It's time for Artist Direct on FM 100.5, your inside scoop on the music scene. Brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction.
We'll be chasing miles, chasing miles, chasing miles. Seemed like only seconds, but then the hours passed.
It is Artist Direct on FM 100.5, brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction.
And I'm so excited that this is finally happening from Atlanta, Georgia, the band ThunderGypsy. I've got Richard Price on the phone with me this morning. First of all, good morning, Richard. I heard you're staying at least a little bit warmer than we are in Atlanta today.
Well, it's 38 here, which is cold for us for springtime, but I feel for you up there in the frozen north.
Well, you're going to laugh. Would you like to know that it's 31 here right now?
Wow.
So we're pretty close. I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Well, it's been a little bit up and down here. Last week was was out pulling weeds and in the in low 70s weather, but it's like up and down here. So
it is very much
anyway.
So. Well, I have to say that's the life of the weather blues. We've got ThunderGypsy on with us this morning in part because of a serendipitous meeting. Richard, you and I had a chance to meet when your band was selected to compete in the International Blues Challenge in Memphis this last January, and so you and I got a chance to sit down during a kind of a speed mentoring session while we were chatting with other notables in the entertainment biz in the blues music, and I just thought you were such a fantastic guy, and then I got to hear your music. When did ThunderGypsy come together as a band?
We've been together about 3 years as ThunderGypsy. The band, several members of the band had been with, in other bands prior to that, but the four of us got together right at 3 years ago, and it was just a match that really worked from the get-go, and we all just kind of looked at each other and said, "This is the right thing to do, and this is where we need to be," and we've been having a great time ever since. Kind of culminating in the International Blues Challenge. To get there, we won the Atlanta Blues Challenge back in August, which was great, and the Atlanta Blues Society, who put that on, is just a fantastic organization that kind of feeds into the organization that puts on the International Blues Challenge, and the experience in Atlanta winning that challenge was great, and going to Memphis and representing Atlanta and Georgia on the international side was great, and we met a lot of great folks. I just happened to be as sick as a dog and had laryngitis, so it was my great pleasure to sit with you, Jenny, because you had a voice, and basically I just listened to your questions and their answers, and turned out well.
Well, and I have to say, it was such a pleasure for us to be able to sit there and have for me to sit there and have a conversation with you, someone else who was in a similar boat. But I know your voice was a little rough, which it's nice to hear that you're back to health. But one of the things we didn't get to talk about was, the sort of the transition of your band from starting together as a group and getting all the way to this place where you're winning unlimited studio time, and you come out with an album that is getting great response, wonderful reviews, and that track we just heard was off of the album. That track was entitled "Chasing Miles," and it sounds like that you all came together to write that as a group.
Yeah, that's right. I had a couple of riffs that I brought to rehearsal, and everybody listened and kind of threw in some other. Heather started singing this melody. Paul, our keyboard player, came up with the chords for the bridge, and Ken put down this amazing rhythm. We came up with lyrics very quickly, and it kind of evolved over a couple of sessions, and we're really pleased with it. And the recording, the Blues Society kind of sponsored our studio time, and that was a great experience working with a man named Richard Lahamdu, who has a studio here, and we were able to do exactly what we wanted to do with the songs, and yeah, it was a great experience, and it's been really gratifying to get the songs out there, in a DIY kind of way, self-distributed, self-produced, and just to, everything is immediate now. We can get it all, everything to the people that want to hear it, without a lot of friction these days.
Which is kind of exciting, I think, as we see more and more independent artists. In fact, we probably, on average, deal with 80% independent artists here on the radio station, simply because they're actively working toward their own careers. Have you found that things have, since the Blues Challenge, both in Georgia and also the International Blues Challenge in Memphis, has it been a little easier, or do you find it's still this? Because I think independent artists, maybe people don't know, it's a struggle to make sure that just people get that you get their attention, that you get the bookings, that you get your album sold. It's not as simple, but events like this can help.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. We're definitely getting more returned phone calls since all of those events took place, and and people just calling out of the blue and expressing interest in booking the band, and it's I really cannot say enough about both events and just the whole, like I said before, being able to produce the music, get it out on CD, get it onto Spotify, get it onto Amazon, get it onto iTunes, kind of all at the same time, and all in doing it our way, as independent artists. It's a remarkable thing.
We're talking with ThunderGypsy on FM 100.5's Artist Direct, winners of the Atlanta, Georgia, and Georgia Blues Challenge, and then also participants in the International Blues Challenge in Memphis in January. So, what have you guys been doing since Memphis? Like, are you playing all the time? Are you thinking like now it's time to start working on another album? At what point do you get together and decide that we're touring this album, or are you guys pretty settled right now and pretty booked in Atlanta?
We are, we're pretty booked from about April through the end of August. We've got a few open dates, but we're those dates are filling up fast. Last night we were at the Hard Rock Cafe downtown Atlanta, which was great.
Wow.
There's NCAA action going on in the city, and so there was a really great crowd there, and they sold some CDs and I think made some new friends, and
sweet.
So we're really kind of just building organically. While we were, we had some downtime right after the Memphis event in mid-January, and we went into our rehearsal space and started working on some more new songs for the next recording when we get to that point. But we're also interested in as a part of our fundraising effort, we reached out to friends and said, okay, what songs would you like? What covers would you like to hear us do? Which was a great experiment, a great thing to get input from friends and family on what they'd like to hear, and so we've been working on those songs as well.
Now, Richard, I've never been to Atlanta. I'm kind of curious. Can you give me like a good visual of the blues scene out there? Like what music to listen to, what food to eat? I'm curious.
John's, by the way, I have to say, John's from Connecticut,
yeah.
So we're trying to school him on the ways of the South.
Right. The closest I've been is Florida.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Richard.
Well, it's good to hear your voice, John.
Thank you.
It's it's a big city in the South. It's a beautiful city. We've got 4 seasons, but none of them are extreme like some of my friends, like the ones I'm talking to. But the blues scene is really strong here. The music scene, in all genres, is really strong. We call our music Southern soul, and it's got elements from, if you think about kind of the surrounding area and the artists that are really affiliated with Atlanta directly, Curtis Mayfield was here, and he's huge in our lives, and of course the Allman Brothers were headquartered in Macon, which is just south of us here in Atlanta. But all the R&B, all the hip hop, all of the Southern rock influences, we kind of feel like we've soaked up, and they come out through our music. But the blues scene, again, the Atlanta Blues Society is really does a lot to promote the blues in Atlanta. There's a club called Darwin's that is a specialty. Their specialty is blues and burgers, and we were there last Friday night and had a great time. And there's clubs like Blind Willie's that specialize in the blues, but there's new places. I live kind of out in the suburbs, and there's a new place that we just played last week called Utopia that everybody was real open to our kind of music, and we're going to be back there. We've got several dates booked with them that we're excited about going forward.
Well, you had me at Blues and Burgers. I have to certainly visit Atlanta.
I have to before, I know I hate letting you go because this has been so nice to catch up with you again and to hear what's going on with the band. But before we get to the last song that I wanted to play, I'm going to make a change to you and Jon. We were going to play one of the songs that you wrote called Turn on the Bright Lights. But we've been sitting here talking about covers, and I think one of the things that is also very exciting about this album you put together, not only does it feature things that you all have written as a band or individually as band members, but it also features some really great covers. What made you decide to put covers on this album?
Part of it was, what we did at the Blues Challenge was a combination of the two, and a lot of the bands that we really respect and admire and kind of take inspiration from do that as well. Interpret great songs with their own put their own slant on it, and we're intrigued with that concept. So that's really where we were coming from on the covers.
Well, that's what's so exciting, and I have to say the Bob Dylan tune, "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right." You definitely have taken a sound that was very distinct and made it your own distinct style. And I assume that was part of your plan when it came to doing a cover, to do it in your own way.
Absolutely. We when Mr. Dylan won the Nobel Prize a few months back, we were just talking about that and figuring, we need to figure out a Bob Dylan song to play, and started throwing different songs around and came upon I think we came upon a Tedeschi Trucks version of it, which is one of my favorite bands that go on today, and their version was pretty true to the Dylan arrangement. And then we got to start listening to some other different arrangements, and Eric Clapton had a bluesier version, and that was similar to what we ended up with, and so we went in that direction, and certainly made a lot of changes from where he was at, and ended up with the version on the record. Heather Statham, our singer, just kills it, I believe, and And it was great fun to put that one together.
Well, the song is Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Of course, it's Bob Dylan, but this is all Thunder Gypsy, and you can find them online at ThunderGypsy.com. Of course, they're also on Facebook. You can see our post from earlier this week if you want to link right to them. But Thunder Gypsy is one word. Go check them out, and they're a very exciting brand of Southern soul. Richard, it was nice meeting you, and I'm so glad that we had this opportunity to follow up. Congratulations to you and your band. We wish you guys all the best.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and really appreciate you playing the songs.
No worries. It's our pleasure. It's Artist Direct here on FM 100.5, brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction. Here's Thunder Gypsy and their cover version, which sounds a whole lot different, of Bob Dylan. And Don't Think Twice, It's All Right.
Know by now, oh now, there ain't no use to sit and wonder why. 'Cause it won't ever do somehow. Oh, when your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window. Turning on your light, babe. The light I've never known. Oh, now it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. That's why I'm sorry, 'cause I'm on the dark side of the road. Oh, now I'm thinking and wondering, walking down the road. There ain't no use in calling out my name, boy, like you never done before. Oh, now, there ain't no use in calling out my name now, 'cause I can't hear anymore. I wish there was something you might do or say. honey, baby. Where I'm bound, I'll never tell. Oh, but goodbye is too good a word now. So I'll just say, fare thee well. Oh, now I ain't saying you treat me unkind. Oh, you could have done better.